How's it going, everyone? Want to cover some very interesting news as far as Xbox titles coming to PlayStation, and I'll get into my thoughts as far as the whole idea of these Xbox titles come to PlayStation, and there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of nuance to this, to be perfectly honest, as far as how to perceive it, and there's a lot of angles you could look at it from, and I think if you just look at it from one angle, that's where you are going to not understand the bigger picture of everything going on. But I think there's a lot of ramifications. But right off the bat, according to Nate the Hate 2 in his recent podcast, he said Flight Simulator 2 and Halo the Master Chief Collection are going to be launched on PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch 2. There was also rumblings that Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were coming to Xbox and Nintendo Switch 2. However, FF7 is not a PlayStation published game. Of course, it's a Square Enix game, and Square Enix has been talking about releasing their games on more platforms, so that makes a lot of sense. In this case, Halo the Master Chief Collection has been one title that we've been talking a lot about on PlayStation, and that is a big one. More so than Hi-Fi Rush, more so than Pentiment, more so than any of the games that have come to PlayStation thus far, because Halo is so synonymous with the Xbox brand. That is the franchise that Xbox was built upon. It was Halo, it was Gears, it was Fable, and you could throw Forza in there, but really, the franchise that I think most people would consider iconic with Xbox is Halo and Gears. You know, Fable and Forza were kind of the second tier exclusive, but Halo and Gears were the ones that were promoted all over Xbox. And then Jez Corden also responded way more than that as far as Xbox games coming to PlayStation. On top of that, we know that Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation in June. That is a game done by Machine Games, who obviously Bethesda's been acquired by Microsoft, but their games as far as exclusivity seems to be more of a timed thing, and who knows, Starfield is still only on Xbox, but I argue like Starfield at this point is a game that you release on PlayStation. Are you gonna really drop it at $70 even with Shattered Space included? Are people gonna get excited about that? I guess you do it just to make some passive revenue, but I just don't think it's that big of a deal. But Halo, Flight Sim is cool as well. Flight Sim is a game that's gonna get a lot of attention, and I'm really curious with a game like Flight Sim, like, yo, is that gonna be PS5 Pro enhanced? Can we get some PS5 Pro enhancements on some of these games? Because that would be great. But as far as looking at these titles, that's great and all. What about games like Gears of War E-Day? What about the upcoming Fable game? Like, those are the two titles that I do think are going to be exclusives for far longer, and that would really say something. Master Chief Collection is a big one because, again, Halo has been so synonymous with the Xbox brand. Gears of War E-Day and Fable are legit brand new this generation games. Halo Master Chief Collection is a collection of games from the 360 era. Like, it's cool, it's great. If it has cross-platform play, that'd be really cool. And Halo just being on PlayStation in any form or fashion, that's a big, big deal. I can't reiterate how big of a deal that is, but I look at, you know, the idea of a Halo 1 ground-up remake that's been rumored. Gears of War E-Day that we know and rumored now to be coming by the end of this year. That'd be insane. If it's by the end of this year, Xbox, from a publishing standpoint, has an insane lineup of games, and it's funny how the Xbox lineup of titles is looking to be great in 2025, the year they're going in a more multi-platform approach, with Doom the Dark Ages being a day one PlayStation title, with Outer Worlds 2 being a day one PlayStation title, but then you also have these games that for now, Fable, Avowed, Gears of War E-Day, those are going to be exclusive. South of Midnight, that's going to be exclusive on Xbox for a little while longer, and there are rumblings now that this developer direct that's happening on January 23rd, Jez Corden also noted that this event might be bigger than Microsoft is leading on. Right now, we know that Doom the Dark Age is going to be at that event, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and South of the Midnight, and there's a mystery title that is rumored to be the Oblivion Remake. The Oblivion Remake, I can very much see that being a day one PlayStation title as well. Xbox does have the advantage where all of these games are available on Game Pass, so you can promote it that way. The issue I do think from an Xbox console standpoint is now the optics. Now, if Xbox is stepping away from the console business, and when I say stepping away, they're not going to be entirely removed from it, but stepping away in that they're not as invested into it and they're going this multi-platform route, there's an argument to be made that that strategy has a lot of value to it. However, do you want to forego on the Xbox business this much? And it's an optics thing. Halo being available on PlayStation will absolutely, there is no argument to be made. Halo in any form or fashion being available on PlayStation will lessen the value of Xbox as a console, even if it's not the newest Halo game, even if it's not, having the Master Chief Collection, I think, is way more valuable than having Infinite. I actually had argued that Infinite's multiplayer component, at the very least, should be on PlayStation 5. Why not? Reignite that game. And you want to reestablish Halo as an IP? Doing a PlayStation release, I think, at least initially, would really reinvigorate that IP and get people excited. Now, you have one swing at that, or potentially two swings, because the Master Chief Collection, I think, would get people excited as a legacy title, you know, this legacy collection of games. But then if you did the next mainline Halo game, it's available on all of these platforms day one, I do think that would give it another jolt. I think reestablishing Halo as an IP, it would be incredibly effective to do this. Establishing Xbox as a premier console, oh, you are totally foregoing on that. Even if Gears of War E-Day is available and it's a big exclusive on Xbox, and it'll be available on PC, and Fable is out on Xbox, and again, that'll be available on PC. Xbox as a console, that value is waning a little bit, and I really do feel like 2025 can be an opportunity for you with this library of games to reignite Xbox as a console as a legit competitor by not offering games on PlayStation. But we already know Doom available on PlayStation Day 1, and I'm happy about that. I am not happy about the idea of Xbox stepping away from the console business, because I am thinking about it from the standpoint of, I don't want to live in a world where Xbox is so weak as a brand, as a console brand, I should say, because they're trying to be more than a console brand with the this is an Xbox gimmick. But just talking about it from the strict console brand of Xbox, I don't want them to be a weak console, so PlayStation is scot-free to do whatever they want. This is what I've been reiterating over and over again. My main worry about this isn't the idea of, oh, I don't want PlayStation people to play these games, and I want Xbox to have all these games on their own console. What I am worried about is PlayStation being the absolute dominant leader in the space, in the premier console space, because Nintendo is kind of on an island on their own, although, you know, they are the best-selling console, and Switch 2, I think, is going to sell incredibly, incredibly well, but PlayStation 5 offers something to that audience where Nintendo kind of offers something else, and they're on an island. Nintendo platforms are often bought in conjunction with a PlayStation. Like, people will usually have a PlayStation 5 and a Nintendo Switch. Most people don't have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X. They might have an Xbox Series and a Nintendo Switch, but you get the idea. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, those are direct competitors, and I want PlayStation to have a direct competitor, and that's why, yes, from the angle of PlayStation getting games, awesome. For you guys that are PlayStation-only guys, having Indiana Jones, which I think a lot of people are going to enjoy, having Halo Master Chief Collection, potentially Hi-Fi Rush, and all of these games, that's obviously a good thing. What I worry about is the standpoint of Xbox weakening their position as a console manufacturer and their brand appeal as a console, thus leading to PlayStation having no direct competition, thus leading to PlayStation doing whatever the hell they want. And yeah, that's maybe me being preemptively a little bit worried, but the writing is on the wall a little bit with how PlayStation has been navigating their business recently in terms of PlayStation Plus price points, in terms of their venture into live service games, which even a failure like Concord, it's rather inconsequential at the end of the day, because they don't lose their position in terms of PlayStation brand appeal, because what else is there in terms of consoles? Xbox, people just aren't gravitating to Xbox like that. I do think the Xbox brand can be restored, but if you're going more and more into the multi-platform route, I think that's where you run into trouble. I think offering your games on PC and Nintendo Switch, that's one thing. Again, as I've always said, those platforms are kind of on an island to themselves. Offering those games to the direct competitor on PlayStation. Oh, and by the way, PlayStation ain't giving you anything in return. The only thing you're getting is MLB The Show. They wouldn't even give you Lego The Horizon. They give Nintendo Lego The Horizon, but they ain't giving you Lego The Horizon, but you're about to give them a Halo? What is that? What does that say from an optics standpoint? You ain't getting Horizon. You ain't getting Spider-Man. You're not getting all of these games, but you're going to give PlayStation Halo the Master Chief Collection. You're going to give them even a Hi-Fi Rush, a Pentiment, a Indiana Jones. They're getting all of these games. Xbox, from a console standpoint, getting nothing in return. At the very least, Microsoft is going to get additional revenue on the sales of these games, and that makes sense with how expensive these games are. Again, I like to talk about it from an optics standpoint. It just puts PlayStation, in terms of the console business, in such a more powerful position, and that's what worries me. I don't want PlayStation to have more power than they already have. I like PlayStation when their back's against the wall. I like PlayStation when they feel like they have to drop the absolute best exclusives that they absolutely can, or publish the absolute best games that they possibly can, like they had to do in the PlayStation 3 era towards that latter stage. And we got Infamous, we got Uncharted, we got Resistance, we got all Ratchet & Clank, the future titles, we got all of these games back to back to back, and some of those years were absolute insanity for PlayStation published games. Whereas in 2025, you know, Ghost of Yotei looks great, Death Stranding 2 is gonna be big, but it does feel like they're going more so in the live service direction so they can establish more revenue generation to a different audience, and less so in the games that brought them to the dance. And I hope they don't try to move more so into that position, because the exclusives, remember, the strength of Spider-Man 2, the strength of these marquee exclusives, it's great to have these games and have them sell really well. What they really offer Sony is a drawing card to their ecosystem. If they don't need these drawing cards into their ecosystem and they can spend money establishing other ecosystems, which is what a Concord was supposed to be, which is what Fair Game is supposed to be, which is what live service projects are. They are their own ecosystem. Sony and PlayStation just want you into their ecosystem. It puts less pressure on them to drop the big budget exclusives when they're the only ecosystem that people are gravitating towards, and less so Xbox. And that's what I'm getting at. And once you're in that ecosystem, and when they have no pressure from outside ecosystems, you know, drawing gamers into their ecosystem, Xbox I'm talking about, well, that gives them more power and their ability to do a lot more within that ecosystem, as in upping prices, doing whatever the hell they want, essentially, which is what is naturally going to happen when you have no direct competition. So that's what I am worried about. Obviously, if I assess it in a vacuum, Halo Master Chief Collection being on PlayStation, absolutely huge. Let's get a Gears of War collection as well. Let's get a Fable collection. Why is Fable 2 not available on modern platforms? Get Fable 2 on PC, get Fable 2 on PlayStation, get Fable 2 up-res. That game is so awesome, and we need that game as well. There's so much Microsoft can do, and 2025, the outlook from a sheer game standpoint is looking really solid. You look at Avowed, South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Ages, Outer Worlds 2, if Gears of War comes out, Fable, like there's a lot of quality stuff that actually looks to be coming in 2025, and I feel like I've been saying for years, oh my god, maybe next year, Xbox will finally be pretty good, and it looks like 2025, fingers crossed, you know, coming off the excellent release of Indiana Jones, hopefully Avowed's really good. Hopefully they're dropping a high-quality game after high-quality game, because more games available is great. I just do want that direct competition, because I know for the consumer, it's the best when that direct competition is there, and I think Sony and PlayStation is going to lose that. And that, in the long term, not saying it is, it could be bad for the consumer. And generally, not having direct competition is usually bad for the consumer. So think about that for a second. That's what I am trying to illustrate. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.